my boys, it's Black Friday, Black November, no shave November, no November, if you know what I mean. It's the best time of the year to look at plugins and acquire some, because even some of the plugin makers that play hard to get, looking to play with your wallet. It's a Fabfilter Sale. Now, it's not the best sale out there, but Fabfilter doesn't need to give the best sale out there because their plugins are world renowned, used by the best of the best. And in all honesty, if you get their total bundle, I would say 80% of your mixing needs are as long as you learn to use their plugins and you learn to be loyal. If you want to buy individual plugins, here are the ones I recommend for you to get. Fabfilter Pro Q3 is a must-have, especially if you don't have a digital EQ. Digital EQ, that sounds great. This EQ is really good for being surgical and reducing on stuff. It's really good for dynamic EQ, which is where you bring this guy down by pulling down, and it will react to the incoming signal. And if it hits the threshold, it ducks. Now, it ducks dependent on by how much it goes over. You can also click this arrow here in order to create a sidechain feature where you can route certain audio into it and duck at the certain frequency. The other thing many people don't know about is that if you start to open up multiple channels, let's say, right, and you start putting Pro Q3, it also has access to this mask feature here that will show and overlap the frequencies. And if they're fighting, I'll let you know like a damn snitch. I do have to say some cons because I ain't going to glaze this thing up either. If you're looking to boost, I would suggest, if money allows, getting a analog-based additive EQ, which means it boosts with flavor in a way where it's very musical, which just means more broader. Has mid-side EQ, has left and right, natural phase, and linear phase mode. And I act like I know what that is, and I don't, but we ain't doing too bad. To this day, so many limiters have came out, and yet most mastering engineers are still using Pro L2. If we go down the list, we have Saturn. Saturn is a great saturator that you can use when you want to be very specific. I'm not too keen on it, and the reason for that is too many options. However, if you like options, you can do a lot with it. First off, you can add modulations to this, like an LFO or an envelope. You can route it, very easy to do. Just boom, 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 wherever you want to set it to. Threshold here, so as the sound comes in, if the sound hits it, it starts to activate. From there, you also have an LFO that you can use. And again, you just route it, so it does dynamic saturation, okay? Well, not dynamic saturation, but you can move the saturation, so it makes it more dynamic than having it just always be boom, loud. You have a dynamics controller. Usually when you saturate, you also have a compression effect, and you can get too blobby. We want to be thick, but not blobby. Pro C2 is another great compressor that I think if you get it, it's good for everything as long as you know how to set it up. So if you have some compression, you think you're good at compression, then you will fit right in. Really think you can do everything with the Pro C2. Finally, the last two plugins I recommend are the Pro R2 and the Timeless 3. Really good reverb and really good delay. And that's the end of the video because that's all I recommend. This is one choice you have. It's not the best sale, but for 25% on really good plugins that shouldn't even go on sale because I'm pretty sure they have no issue selling these plugins. It's a good deal to look at. Plugin Boutique Exclusive Bundle. Now, let me tell you a warning. Having more doesn't mean better, okay? However, some people want a lot of bang for the buck for that dopamine rush of like you just conquered a bunch of plugins, right? So this is worth a look. If you're just trying to feed that, like, you know, you're trying for like retail therapy, as they say, you want to buy something so you feel good. This is a good one to get. There's a lot of good stuff in it, but, big but. I'm going to warn you that this is going to, a lot of these plugins, you're going to forget you even own them and you're never going to use them. So just keep that in mind. That's usually what happens with these kind of things. But if we scroll, they have a vocal chain, saturation, compression, low cut, body, and air. Keep things simple. These plugins seem to be becoming very popular, or at least people keep making a lot of them, which there's nothing wrong with them. I feel sometimes you just want to kind of be like, I don't give a shit, make something sound good, and that's it. Then there's a place for that. This $1 pet tamping plugin, I had it. It's okay. We have the Diginoise Subdivine. I don't know what this stuff is. Your favorite instrument for deep and warm basses and 808s. So 7 types of distortion, analog and digital presets. Minimal audio hybrid filter. I'm going to assume this is going to be like a comb, flange, phaser filter. It's a really dope one to have. Mastering the Mix Animate. I actually bought this on sale for Mastering the Mix for about 30 bucks. Maybe I should have just bought this whole damn thing. So again, I don't know if I would recommend this one, but Riffer. I recommend Riffer if it's on sale. The thing is, when you get like Riffer on sale, I think it's like 30 bucks, but I really do recommend it. And the reason for it is that Riffer is really good for generating ideas, and its purpose will be determined by your creativity. So if you just see this as a MIDI maker, then well, there you go. That's the purpose of it in your life, in your reality. But in my reality, what I see is a rhythm generator, a bassline generator, a melody generator, a vocal chops generator, etc. Because it's MIDI. It's just information. And the cool thing about Riffer, unlike Sting and Acid Gen and other sequencers, is that you can really get specific. For instance, if I wanted to generate rhythms, I would just do this. I can generate rhythms, right? But now if I add more bands, like this, I can select the scales I want to be a part of, like pentatonic minor. And like I said, you know, you can play with this here. Boom, boom. It's a cool bassline generator. The cool thing, then you can start moving stuff like, oh, okay, you know, we're in F minor. So boom. You can play with the lock, some of the notes as well. So let's say that you like these notes, but everything else can go away. Then you start doing this. Then you can start to go more. Ooh, there we go. Happy accidents. Deal there. Because that thing's usually 30 bucks, 40 bucks, and you're paying $69 for it. And I think they did that on purpose. From there, we have Capsule Audio Neon, which I don't know what it is, but again, it seems like a preset machine. That's what I would use it for. Just, okay, what kind of sounds can I find in it? And that's it, right? It's kind of like a happy one. But the question will always be, am I going to remember I own it? From there, we have Kive Audio Distinct. Looks like a very interesting distortion unit. Never used it. When you buy this, you get access to all of this, a volume shaper, another preset maker, strummer. It actually looks very interesting. A multi-band delay that adds strumming. So it might be interesting, that one. There's also some samples at the bottom that they offer. Like this one I was looking at, assuming the vocals are good. Hell yeah. Monster Sounds Theft. Funk 4. Look at this stuff. Super Slow Motion by Kayani Sounds, Cloudmaker. I mean, this thing is a very good deal. It's just remembering you own all that stuff. You know, life's already hard trying to make bangers every fucking day. Like, am I going to remember I have all these plugins? Who knows? But if you're looking to get started, I think this is one of the biggest no-brainer sales you have. 49 plugins for $69, almost like $2 a plug. Next one we have is the UAD Classics Bundle. This one's another good one. I got sent this email, by the way, from Plugin Boutique. Like, these are the best sales. This is one of them. It's the UAD Studio Classics Bundle. You're saving $1,500. This one's 59 bucks. And it's a good one if you're looking for, like, what the hell is the fuss about analog, right? And you just got into making music. You're like, what's with people talking about analog stuff being better and stuff? Then this can give you an easy taste of what it is. And if you like it, cool. You found something you can fuck with. Fairchild Tube Limiter compressor, really good on leads, vocals, and sometimes even drums. From there, we have an LA6176 signature channel strip. I say that like I know what it is. I don't. But the beautiful thing I like about plugins like this is that they have history tied to them, right? These are plugins based on real life machines. And, you know, a favorite pastime of mine that I have is I'll go into my living room when I'm done with the workday, and I'll watch videos on some of these things. Like, what were they known for? What mixing engineers love to use them, and what did they use them on? And then when I get in the studio, I'll try it out. Vision, 4X. Many people love to hate on this plugin. And they always do, you know, because they have Minimeters, $10. But I always tell my students, if you can get Vision 4X, yes. We can see how the kick looks. We can also compare it to other music, right? If you bring in a reference track, you can see how the bass looks. Now, I use this for sound design, for my presets and my samples. Main reason is the way I see samples is making people's lives easier. You know, a lot of people have real life jobs. I want to make their lives easy by making samples that are high quality. So when they use them and they play their music live, if they ever have a DJ gig or, you know, to a crowd, they hear the difference between other people's. Vision 4X allows me to do that, especially with bass lines, because if I make this bass, I don't want it to look like a damn blob, you know, because then there's no groove. You know, groove is very simple. If you have space, you have groove. If you have no space, what this allows me to really... You can see that this bass has a nice fucking shape. So here we have that. The reason we have this too is we can see if the track is like clouded with reverb. So there's a lot of uses for Vision 4X. And it was made by the GOAT, Noisia, in collaboration with them with Excite Audio, who usually also have a lot of really cool plugins I recommend, especially for people that just want to, you know, have like stuff like, oh, let me try this. Oh, it sounds good. I like it. For example, main reason is that it provides effects processors. You have one that is more, that's going to be more like for mixing purposes or like adding color to a sound. And then you have another one that's more effects oriented. Like this one would be more effects oriented. Dirt, a reamp, a space, and width. And you can do a lot of really cool sound design with the effects that they provide to you. But the important thing is it also has a lot of really good presets to process your sounds through. So worth a check. I really recommend that one. The next one I would recommend is the V Collection. Now, the thing I like about these analog synths is that everything is somewhat prepared for you, right? So when you use Serum, the problem with Serum for many people, when they use it, it's very daunting. There's nothing predetermined. What that means is all your LFOs and envelopes aren't routed to stuff. You don't have the warp set up, like where you can't really change it, and what you get is what you get with the synth. So that's what makes Serum very daunting, but it also makes it super powerful. But if you don't know you can do certain things, and you're like, PWM, what's that for, etc. So the thing with these synths is that these synths already have those settings applied and you can't really change them. So as you start to explore the synth, for instance, the Mini V, you know, like drive. Okay, cool. What's feedback? Okay, cool. You know, what's noise? Boom, boom, boom. But everything's already determined. There's no like going through too much stuff. Like for instance, what, like you don't have access to an abundance of waveforms. You only have access to the standard analog saw square, the pulses, your triangle saw, and then your triangle. So as you make a sound in it, first off, you start to sound fatter, and then you will go, why does it sound so much fatter than Serum? Well, it's a type of filter that is predetermined. You don't have to pick a filter. In Serum, you have to learn to pick the right filter for the fatness. In this one, it's already set up for you. The envelopes are set up in different ways. You don't have a release. In fact, you have this release here, but now it's tied to the decay. And you notice that, oh, the bass lingers a lot more. Maybe you'll move this up and go, why is this routed to 9 or 7? So then you start. There you go. The velocity will usually, which is found here, you can see you can route it to your volume or your filter. So now you know, oh shit, I can route velocity to that. While in Serum, it doesn't even tell you that you can do stuff like that. It just shows you velocity, but it doesn't tell you what you can route it to. You can route it to everything. And that makes it confusing for someone starting out in sound design, right? So what I love about these analog synths from the V Collection is that you can play with that stuff, and then you start to kind of get an idea of what you can do with it. Like, I'll show you guys one of the insane things I learned from this guy. If we put noise and we put it on a filter like this, there we go. Now, piano VST, you know. So nice. And then again, usually the Arturia staff has a lot of presets, so sometimes I'll go through them and might get ideas as I'm going through stuff. Calvin Harris used it for one of his songs, so that was pretty cool. Definitely worth a check. I say if you're looking for synthesizers, this is one of the best deals you're going to find. You get a lot of synths, the Jupiter 8, a Juno emulation. Oh, I forgot to show the acid. The acid they have is probably, it's game over because it's so well made. First off, it's very nice to look at. Second, very, very easy to program. The sequencer is just so nice in this compared to all the other stuff I've used. The 16 came over, bro. In fact, this is so nice. Now you can start going, okay, accents. Distortion. You can generate place. You can also change it to an ARP, and then you can play the notes yourself. Next that excites me a lot is the XLN audio one. Now, Life came out not too long ago, and it's been on my list to buy, but they've wanted $150 for it. Now, I've seen Virtual Riot's videos where he does crazy stuff with it. I also hired someone to make glitch loops for a brand new tech house pack or minimal tech pack called. And I was told they were made by using Life. So ever since that, I've looked at it, and it seems it would be good for vocal chops, for mangling samples, being creative. So it's just something that sounds very interesting for me. It comes with this app that you use on your phone to record stuff. But I want it. What I want to use it for is for putting in samples, maybe like melodic ideas, and randomizing or using the ecosystem it has in order to make stuff with it. So create beats instantly and stuff. So this is one that I'm actually gonna. From the other one I recommend you look at is gonna be the RC20 Retro Color. It's a really good one for just spicing up your sound. It offers a lot of cool effects. It has the noise generator, so if you want to make something sound a little like old, like it's being ran through vinyl. It has a wobble and flutter, saturation and distortion, which many people love, the one from this guy. Have it already, and it's one of those where you have to remind me that I own it, and then I'll keep using it for a minute, and then I forget when I get new plugins, and I'm like, From there, I've heard great things about the DS10 drum shaper. So if you need a transient designer, this is one to look at, because for $25, it's fairly cheap. From there, Brainworx is also having a sale on all their plugins, and they're fairly cheap. Now, I feel they're cheap because at one point, correct me if I'm wrong, they used to be free when Native Instruments bought out Plugin Alliance. But let's say that you didn't manage to get those plugins, then you can still get them relatively cheap. For instance, the BlackBox Analog Design HD2 is probably one of my top saturators whenever I'm looking at warming up a sound. Hard to get this thing to distort on a sound, so usually use the pentode or the triode. I actually recommend that one over the Saturn if you're not distorting too much, because again, the thing with Saturn, too busy. That one, fairly simple to use. The Shadow Hills mastering compressor is a good one if you're looking for a compressor to master your song. Once you understand it has 2 compression stages, then it becomes fairly easy to use, and it has a really good sound, and it also has some preamps or color to it, which can be found in this bottom section here. So famous dance music producer talking about how the iron color and all that. So you can check that here to change the color or preamp. A pretty good deal on this guy, because usually it's like $300. And you know, when they put those prices, I don't know if they put it with the intention of knowing that people aren't going to buy them and people are going to wait for them to go on sale. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I've never bought a plugin for $300 unless it's Auto-Tune Pro, which again, that one, I believe it's on sale, and we'll check it out in a bit. The Townhouse bus compressor is also good if you're looking for a SSL type compressor. Really good for drums, parallel compression, and a master compressor as well. The Vertigo VSC2 is also a no-brainer. There's going to be like the UAD counterparts, etc., but I've heard great things about the Plugin Alliance one. I actually have it, and I haven't used it in a minute, so now I just reminded myself, hey, you got to use this thing. So it's really good. Really, really good and fairly easy to use as well. The Mag EQ4, if they have it on sale, is definitely a must pick for vocals for adding air. From there, if you know any of these other ones, then check them out. But it looks like, yeah, they have everything on sale, which is insane. The fairly cheap one that caught my eye was Sublab by Future Audio Workshop. Now, I've never used it, but as a guy that uses a lot of bass in dance music, intriguing to me. It's something that I'm definitely going to pick up for 10 bucks, try out. And if I don't like it, boom, delete. But it's one that you guys should definitely look at. Leave it to Arturia to be killing it with the sales as well, because they also have the FX Collection 5 on sale. So we looked at their synths, but now their effects are also up for grabs. And again, a lot of these will be emulating some of the analog counterparts, like the filter on the MS-20. Tape, you have Fragments, which is a really cool plugin to use for creating atmosphere and ear candy, especially when you like it with a lot of reverb. This tube culture is based on the Vulture culture, which the one I recommend is the UAD one, but this thing is just as good. It's not up there, but it's by just a tad bit. So if you're looking for a really good distortion with character and saturator, boom, that one. From there, I also like the UI, how it shows you that. The other one doesn't. We have a distortion pedal, the bus force, a compressor, the chorus Dimension D, very popular chorus, old school vibes, a fucking bro, I am gonna get this, a damn VC A65 compressor for drums, really good on drums. You get a lot. I used to love these delays, like heavily, and you know, I want to go back to using them, so I think I'm gonna end up getting this one. Auto-Tune Pro 11 is also on sale. Now they also offer a subscription model with it, which I opted out of. I ended up spending $400 for the Auto-Tune I run, but this one's on sale for half off. So if you don't have it and you're working with vocals, it's a must get. Like Auto-Tune, Melodyne's also going to be on sale from what I've heard, but I have yet to see their sale go live yet, so make sure you're on the lookout for that. Izotope also has a sale on some of their plugins. For instance, Trash is on sale, which came out and was about $100, I believe. And it got a lot of hate because people were like, you know, Trash 2, it used to be free, but I ended up buying it and I actually enjoy it a lot. I like the fact that you have access to a lot of different waves that you can shape with or distort with, right? Like, and you can move between them all. You have convolution reverb here that you can use to add a more distinct shape to the sound, this feeling. It's hard to explain, but it's kind of metallic, or it can sound more ampy, or it can sound more. I do recommend Trash, some really good presets as well to use for stuff, so you can kind of experiment if you don't know what you want. It also has multi-band capabilities. If you're looking for a mastering suite, I always recommend Ozone 11, especially if you're not like a mastering engineer and you're just looking for something to spice up your music that you're making. You just want to hear how it's going to sound like mastered. I think Ozone 11 Standard and Advanced are good options to use. 11 is going to offer a little more, but the modules you get access to are really insane. For instance, really like their new features like the low-end focus. A lot of the times when I get the blobby bass we were talking about in Vision 4X, and I'm kind of like, shit, you know, I just can't get it. I will use this thing in order to apply more of the punchiness. We can smoothen it out with this. We can also hit Delta to hear what's happening, like what's getting affected. We also have a clarity module, which can be useful for making the track sound a little less muddy. You can shape it to what you feel sounds the best. Very simple to use. You can use Delta to hear what's changing. What is it affecting? Now, if you're looking for more synths, Korg also has some of their flagship synths on sale. The ones I would recommend to look at are the ARP Odyssey, the Korg M1. The Wave Station is one I'm actually going to be purchasing this Black Friday. They offer a sound that is very iconic and very easy. So if you ever just want to write very simple music, for instance, we can go into the Korg M1 and grab the iconic house piano. The reason I want to get the Wave Station is because it's just going to be another thing like the Korg M1 that has some iconic sounds that I probably am going to want to be using. And for $50 and getting that amount of sounds, it's super dope. And especially with retro stuff being in, it seems like a no-brainer to pick up. Really dope sale to take a look at as well is Gullfoss. Now this one's outside of Plugin Boutique, but it's an intelligent-based EQ that the Sound Theory guys made. And the way that I use it is usually I'll do the mixing on a sound, or maybe I'll do a master, right? And from there, maybe I feel like it could be a little better, it needs more stability, or there's just resonances that are moving that are very hard to get right, or maybe I need to de-ess something. Then I will use Gullfoss and put the tame up. And it helps you control the resonances on the sound, but at the same time, you can see that it's boosting certain frequencies, right? So if I like the sound of that, I'll be like, dope. If I don't, I can use this limit in order to just focus it more on the middle resonance and negate all of this. I can also control the bias. So let's say I think it's doing too much, or I want to alter the way that it's going to fix it, then I can use that. And then I can also use a brighten if, when I do this, it takes away a little too much. Or maybe it adds too much high end, then I can lower that down. From there, I can... The other thing too is Gullfoss comes with 3 plugins. The master plugin goes on the master, which I believe is going to react a little more pleasant and musical versus super. And it also has a live version, which I'm going to assume is for the people that might want to use this at a church. Maybe the pastor has a resonance as he's preaching the word of God, that house music is the music for all. Then you can use this one as well. And there you go. You have access to those 3. Going back to plugin boutique, SoftTube is another heavyweight in the plugin world, which I recommend heavily. The problem is their plugins are very expensive and they rarely go on sale. But there's a couple that are exclusive to Plugin Boutique at the moment, like the new synth, the Model 77, which is one that I'm actually going to pick up. When it comes to analog synths, I'm not going to lie. I think SoftTube do it a lot better than Arturia. But as you guys saw, Arturia is going to offer more bang for buck for the amount of synths you get for $300 versus SoftTube. Their model synths are amazing. I love them to death. And they need more, and they need a deal like Arturia has. From there, SoftTube is also going to have a lot of really cool mixing plugins, which I would recommend. But like I said, if you're into mixing, these are worth it. If you're not, you just want to make beats, Ozone 11, Neutron, if you can get that, is always a better pick. Now, if you go to the SoftTube website, they're also going to have sales on there that are outside of Plugin Boutique. And I believe they're doing like different sales every week. They change. So for instance, the Model 84 synth is on sale for $59 on their website, which I think it's a great Juno emulation. I think it's way better than the Arturia one, but the Arturia one just has a lot more, effects, and it has way more features than this one. But this one, if you just want something that sounds good and you know how to program it, such a pleasure to work in. Let's add some release, I love the sound of this thing. Another sale outside of Plugin Boutique, if you're into analog synths, is going to be the GeForce one, where they have up to 60% off. They do have a Moog emulation, which is the Mini Monster. But the one that I like the most is the Overheim OBX. And I've also heard from some techno producers that the Imp Oscar 3 sounds amazing. I have yet to get that one, but that's probably going to be on my list to get this Black Friday. Every Black Friday, we are presented with amazing deals, and these are the ones that I think deserve a little more extra of your time. Now, if I missed any plugin that you are excited about and it's on sale, please make sure to leave it down in the comments below. I'm always looking for plugins that offer something different, a different workflow, a different perspective on something that we already do constantly. So if I missed one, let me know down in the comments below. Now, for Evil Sounds, I will also be having a Black Friday sale for 35% off. So if you guys have been waiting to acquire some of those presets that I've released back then, like Afro House sounds, drum and bass, UK Garage, make sure to check it out, guys. My sounds are used by some of the top producers out there, like David Guetta, Disco Lines, Max Styler, West End, Matroda, John Summit. I can keep going, but check them out. And you guys have a great November.